This guy is like so long hair, don't care. I mean, like, his haircut is about to look super fresh, super fresh. But this is another one that I kind of struggled with a little bit. His hair is just so curly, man, and this curly hair can just do whatever it wants. So let me show you guys how we tackle this one, how we approach this kind of crazy length, and how we get a skin fade to blend into the top and sort of be disconnected at the same time. You ready? Let's go. All right, so as you can see, this kid's got quite the mop. I got the chart right up here behind me, and we're gonna use this chart a little bit to kind of help explain what it is we're doing. All right, so the first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna comb this bad boy out, and I'm gonna try to get this hair to kind of get as big as it can be so I can get a better idea of what I got going on, where the growth patterns are, where the hair is thick. Like, people think it's a joke when I tell you, like, we gotta comb it out. And in this case, we're definitely gonna section these out. I wish I would have had my level 3 croc clips. I just got those too. They're really great too. But I can't see a damn thing about what's going on. So I am taking my Apex thing that has a little bit more power than, you know, my Saber. I put the number 2 on, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm gonna start removing some of this bulk. I don't really care as far as like where I'm going with this. I just need to see what's underneath all this hair. What's it actually looking like? Because I want to put a skin line in, and I want my skin line to look good, right? So I'm just removing this bulk. I have it closed, and then we're gonna go in with our trimmer. Now, I'm using the Wall Detailer for the trimmer. Super powerful trimmer, great trimmer for this, but it's kind of like my workhorse. Like, it's not something I use to make like crispy lines with. I kind of use this just to beat up on it. So, and it takes it well. So again, we're shaping our guidelines. I'm making sure that I put that nice arch in my guidelines, and the reason for that is simple. And if you guys want to learn more about that, you guys can check out my skin line positioning video, which is right here. All right, so really important that we get our skin line done correctly, really important that we get it done accurately, and it's gonna lead to some success down the road for sure. So coming in with the electric shaver now, we're coming in. There goes my electric shaver. All right, so when we're coming in with this electric shaver, as always, we talked about it before, especially in the Erase the Skin Line video, but we wanna make sure that we're coming up to the line and we're stopping just a little bit before. And I stopped just a little bit before, and I lift out and flick up. Now, if your line got a little bit too harsh, when this is all over, you can also come down with the grain, all right? So combination of coming up and flicking out and pushing in and going down with the grain. With the grain is gonna take a little bit less hair. Now, hopefully you've zero gapped your trimmer as well, because if you have a zero gap trimmer, you're gonna find that this is going to be an easy thing to get this blend from skin to at least your trimmer and beyond. So now we're moving on with a taper blade. Now with the taper blade, I have the Saber. Now I got this taper blade, right? And I got the Saber, right? And I'm gonna begin with it in the open position, and I'm trying to put a skinnier guideline than normal. Like, normally I tell you about the width of your finger, so I'm trying to do that, but maybe just a little bit less, because I want this fade to be a little more compressed, all right? So I wanna get this done a little bit quicker in a shorter amount of space. Now going from my number 1 here, slapping my number 1 on, and I've noticed with the rig, man, it's really made things easier, like as far as like just switching guards when I'm filming, because like all of a sudden, oh, I want to get rid of my 1, I want to go to my half, bam, I got that. Like, I'm not looking over there. This has all become such muscle memory that when I want my 1.5, I mean, it's just become just very easy. But as far as where we're at in the cut, 1 on in the open position, and we're doing the exact same thing. We're making a very small guideline. Now, because I don't know how long I'm gonna go towards the top, I'm just gonna use a little bit of clipper over comb, and I'm just going to be taking this out. Now, if you need to learn about clipper over comb, what I just showed you there is not the greatest way to do it. You guys can check out my clipper over comb video, one of the best on the internet. I don't think there's anything better, to be honest, but like, if you really, really wanna learn the technique of clipper over comb, help speed you up, get your game together, all right? Check out that video. So we're gonna go on, and we got the 1 1/2. We got it in the open position, and I'm gonna begin just kind of getting rid of some of that bulk, and then I'm gonna begin closing it down little by little, and I'm just gonna see what type of damage we could do. All right, now moving on to the skin portion. Once again, we're gonna start with it fully closed, and we're just flicking away at that bottom line. Now, what I mean by flicking away is we're just literally trying to travel over where that line was, just a little bit, all right? Not trying to go crazy here. And the very next step, I'm gonna push this down 1 click, because that's what's so great about these. These things click. Hide my face, gotta hide my face. All right, these things click, right? So I'm beginning with it fully closed, and then I'm gonna begin opening it, opening it, opening it, little by little. So again, with it fully closed, flicking over the line. Then I'm opening it and I'm listening for it to cut some more, opening it, listening for it to cut some more, and you're gonna notice that your blend is gonna come out super fresh, and it's gonna come out, you know, nice and compressed, so it's gonna look really good when we're done, all right? So you're eventually gonna get yourself all the way back to the open position, and then you got a decision to make. You can go back in with your half, or you can flip over to your one. Now, first off, before I even do any of that, I like to really just address that last bit, and that's why I'm going back to the fade blade. You're gonna see me jump around a little bit, and I'm trying to do my best to explain it, but when we go back to the fade blade, it's because I'm not liking my skin to open taper, and that was just because I used a taper blade, and I know a taper blade doesn't cut close enough quite to remove that. So that's all that is. It's just because I used a taper blade, and I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna repeat some of my steps here with my fade blade. So if I put the number 1 on with my fade blade, it's obviously gonna cut closer with the taper. And that's what's so great about having both. And when I talked about like my ultimate setup for cutting hair, I just feel like it's such an advantage to have one taper blade and one fade blade. It really is. Now that Babyliss Lo Pro, the blade that comes on that is definitely, the wedge blade is sort of functioning more like a, I'd say it functions more like a taper blade, but it's still not gonna cut close enough. So even if you had that blade plus a taper blade, but such an advantage, because when I really need forgiveness, that's when I want that taper blade back out. But when I'm really trying to get rid of some of these lines, some of these things that aren't flowing right, definitely going back to that fade blade. All right, so we got the blend looking good, and if you notice, it's super compressed. You know, this blend is like coming from skin to a whole lot of hair in like a short period of time, and we're just gonna use a little bit of shear over comb, a little bit of texturizing shears to try to relax some of these curls. And this technique here for texturizing, like sometimes I'll press it right up against the scalp, squeeze that scissor, and you'd be surprised with like what you could do. So I'm coming back in with that taper blade for them like final little touch-ups. I'm really liking the way this blend is kind of coming together on this side. And just to add another element of surprise, we're gonna jump over to the Lo Pro FX. Now I'm doing the exact same thing. Only thing that changes is I got the Lo Pro FX. So I am going to grab it actually. And as you can see, mine's starting to get a little beat up, a little patina on it. I'm not complaining. I got this closed all the way, and I'm gonna begin kind of shaping out that line. And then I'm gonna begin opening it little by little. But also I'm gonna use a little bit of clipper over comb. These typically are not the combs that I use for clipper over comb, but if it's just something quick that you just wanna remove some of that bulk, it was just bothering me to look up there and see all that, and I just didn't like it. So wanna get rid of that real quick, and we'll get back to business with the blend, all right? So with the one in the open position, we're gonna go through and we're gonna make that next guideline. Now you might not see the guidelines, but that doesn't mean they're not there, and that doesn't mean that we're not trying to do them still, all right? So we're getting in there, and we got the open taper, and I'm trying to take some swipes at the back too, because you know how I do. A lot of times I'm filming, and I always make sure that I keep the camera still, facing this left side, you're cutting this left side, and as soon as I'm done, I flip them because I gotta change the camera. But when we get to the back, like anything might happen. All right, so here we are with the 1 1/2. And for those of you guys who might be wondering, yes, they do fit the Gamma dubs. You can fit pretty much all wall guards. These are all the same. The blades are interchangeable, and we can, you know, pretty much we can get by on a lot of different, you know, different blades with either of these clippers. So it's all personal preference. All right, so now we're finishing out that bottom. I got it fully closed, and I'm gonna begin opening it, opening it, opening it, little by little. You'll see I kind of tip it sideways each time I tap that button, all the way until I get down to the sponginess, which we talked about in the video about this clipper with the, you can hear it, just kind of spongy a little bit. But yeah, it doesn't really bother me anymore. It bothered me more in the beginning. So again, we got this blend looking pretty good with this wedge blade. Pretty good chance we're gonna have to go back with the fade blade just to kind of knock out any last little bits. But all in all, I'm pretty happy with that. So we're going back with the half or the one, that's the one. Going back with the one, I just wanna touch up a little bit with that. I have that in the fully closed position. And I told you guys I was gonna jump around a little bit over here. Like this is, this is how it really is. A lot of people like to show you like there's some great linear path to doing this shit, and there ain't. Like you do what the hair needs you to do. You give the hair what it needs to have as it develops, as the situation develops here on the ground. All right, so it's a fluid situation. Keep it moving. All right, so anyways, we got the half guard, and usually when I put the half guard on, I'll open it up about halfway, and I'm gonna begin kind of flicking over that and seeing what effect that has on there. Once I'm done with that, I know that there's not much more that can probably be accomplished with this, so a lot of times I'll set this down and I'll grab something with a taper blade, something that's a little more forgiving, something that's gonna allow me to get up into those upper lengths without creating, a situation. We don't need a situation on our hands, so I don't wanna do that. So I go back to this blade, make sure that everything I can do is done, and towards those bottom lengths, towards those lower lengths, towards that skin to open taper length. Like if I see anything, I'm gonna grab my trimmer, I'm gonna kind of flick into that a little bit, and then I more than likely will probably have to go back to something with a fade blade, flick that out a little bit. Not always, but most of the time. So here we are using a little bit of shear over comb. I'm using my shears from Shear Police. Shout out to Shear Police, man. They donated 17 pairs of shears on that clipper video, on that video that we gave away the barber tuition. All right, so it's just a huge gesture of good faith. Just shows that they believe in me and I believe in them, man. And they're just a great company. So if you guys want to use anything from Shear Police, you can go ahead and scoop something from them. Use my code 10% off and save yourself some money. So I really do love their shears. Even with my Mitsutanis, I prefer having a longer shear for doing this type of work. So that's why I'll probably wind up using this over my Mitsutani in these situations. Now we're gonna go over to the texturizing shear, and as you can see, this blend is starting to come together. It's starting to look just right, and it's got no enhancements in it or nothing like that. We're gonna begin, I just noticed that I wanted to do this part of the edge up, and this is another one of those things I was telling you about, jumping around. There ain't no linear flow to this in general in the actual shop when you're actually doing this for a living, all right? I'm just noticing things that need to get done, and I was like, you know what? I just want to look at this edge. I just want to make sure that this thing looks good, and I'll go ahead and I'll finish off the back, because I still hadn't even finished off the back yet. That's the funny part about this. Decided to jump over to this side, knock out this edge, and yeah, we're using the hitters, man. I've been getting some new blades from Gamma, and they've been they've been hitting really good. And something about the hitters, man. I just love the feel of that little trimmer, and it's got some power, man. 4 hours of runtime. I know it's been around for a while, but it's just one of those things that I really like. All right, using my my Essence razor, and I'm happy with that. We're not gonna do no lineup across the front. We're just trying to get them, looking good and not cut too much into the interior. Now we're gonna go through the back, and in the back, I'm gonna use the Apex. And I'm gonna do the same thing, man. I'm gonna begin kind of trying to pick up where I left off. I'm not 100% sure. I've been just taking swipes. Is there a guard on there? I can't tell. Yeah, it looks like there's a half guard on there. So I'm just trying to kind of figure out where I am in the process and what I need to do. I'm jumping back to the Lo Pro, and that's where I'm gonna do my favorite little skin removal. And that's starting with it fully closed and just flicking at it. For years I did it the other way, and you guys have seen that in the videos. But lately, as far as trying to get things done quick in a very small amount of space, I do like fading up. I do like fading up for that, and it really works well. It really works well. There's no right or wrong to this. It just however you got it done, you get it done. All right. So we're gonna knock down this top a little bit. As you can see, he's got a hell of a lot of hair just kind of sticking out in the back, and he's not trying to wear no mullet like we are. So we need to do something about that. I really do kind of like the way his hair looks with it as long as it is, but he wanted some cut off. So we're gonna have to cut a little bit off. But as you can see, man, this curly hair just sort of does whatever it wants. And once I took that down, I'm actually pretty happy with how the blend's looking, but we definitely got some stuff that we gotta take care of. So we're gonna use some shear over comb. And of course, if you need to see a shear over comb video, the best shear over comb video on the internet, I'm gonna post it right here. But basically, I'm just looking at the silhouette, and I want that thing to be nice and even. And you guys can see that side profile. That's why I got this camera angle going for you. And you can see me using my old supercut comb. Because believe it or not, this hair is just so hard to comb through that I just needed a strong comb, and I still use the supercut comb. I mean, that's where That's where I learned a lot about cutting hair. It was right there at Supercuts. You could laugh if you want, but I was doing like 35 people a day, one day out of barber school, all right? And I did that for years. So I got a lot of experience real quick. Anyhow, what I like to do here, and you guys can see this in the cutting the top, how to cut the top video, but basically we're gonna create a small guideline down the center, and I'm gonna work in rows going this way, where I'm just stepping off just a little bit at a time, just a little bit at a time. And I'm making my stationary guideline wider and wider, and I'm following the curvature of the scalp. And that's all we're doing to remove that top. A lot of people really complicate it. A lot of people make it seem like, you know, you gotta have all these crazy sections, everything's gotta be crazy, perfect. Like, that's just not true. You can do really good work and no one's really gonna know the difference when they're sitting in your chair. So that's the cut. I hope that you liked it. I thought it was a pretty fresh one, man. I was pretty happy with this one. And for, you know, a cut that don't have no enhancements in it, and I think it looks pretty blurry. And I hope that you guys learned something. I keep looking at this one little piece of hair right here. I hope that you guys learned something. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. And if you could, man, smash that thumbs up, drop me some comment. And you know what, man? I think we're gonna do a giveaway on this video. So why don't we drop the comment BTI down below, Barber Tuition Initiative down below. Show me some love for that program, man, because honestly, I'm concerned. I don't know if this program is gonna survive. We only got $1,300 in the program and we need like 10,000 to do the next video. So if you guys can drop some comments down below, I'm gonna do a giveaway. Maybe today we'll give away the Sabers or the Apex. I'll let the winner pick, man. So we're gonna do the drawing live. And with that being said, man, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. This is the YouTube Barber Academy. I'm Mr. Eddie Barber, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.